Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. We had a Monday Night Raw come to you live from Dallas, Texas. This was the go-home show leading up to WWE Crown Jewel 2025. If you can remember back a few months ago, I would always be bragging that I would walk outside and I would do my Monday Night Raw reviews, talking about how the sun's still up in sunny California. Well, we are now in October, we are in fall, we are not quite yet where we're going to turn back the clocks, but it is dark outside. We can't do the outside reviews anymore, as you've seen from the last few weeks, but I can honestly tell you that I think this was a really good episode of Monday Night Raw. It kept me interested for the whole 2.5 hours, and I can honestly say that even though I will honestly tell you I am not going to be able to watch Crown Jewel on Saturday, I am going to listen to it while I'm at work. The show starts at 4 a.m. I'm going to start it on from behind, and I'm going to start it at 5 when I start at work. And I should be able to plow through it, and I honestly think that it's going to be a really good day. I already had plans that I was going to watch that, but now I can honestly say I'm really excited that it's going to be going down. There's a real fun storyline building from Roman Reigns being back on Monday Night Raw. He opened up the show. He delivered a promo where he basically just came out and he said hi to the city of Dallas. He was interrupted by Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed. They came out, and basically what they did was they just set up their match that they're going to have. It's going to be an Australian street fight. It's going to be at Crown Jewel, and as of what I was reading today, a lot of people think it's going to be the main event of the show. I think Cody versus Seth is the match that most people care about. I think it is the biggest match of the night. I think that it is the match that they've poured the most time into. It's I don't know. It's Roman versus Cody, who the bigger star is. I think when it all comes down to it, I think it's to be who the supporting act is, and I think Cody versus Seth is a bigger match. I would really be surprised if that was the main event, but this ends up leading to a brawl where Roman pretty much gets the best of Bronson Reed. He hits him with the Superman punch. He definitely stuns him out of his mind once they break up the fight and they bring everybody to the back. We're just going to continue on with that storyline. We basically see Roman walk into where the Usos, they seem to be in good spirits. They're just kind of like going back and forth about, what's going down on the show. And Roman comes in and he basically, he's mind bending Jey Uso right now. I don't really know what we're getting to. Roman seems to make it seem like he's trying to get him to be a bigger figure on the show, to be a bigger figure in WWE. He's a former World Heavyweight Champion. That means he won the title, but he lost it. And he needs to have his mind on getting it back in there. And basically, he makes a reference to who's in the interview at the top of the hour. And basically, Jey Uso says it's CM Punk. And that was a surprise to me, that Roman would kind of direct Jey Uso to be going after CM Punk. In my mind, I was building this dream War Games team. I thought everybody was on the same page. And as of tonight, nobody is on the same page. I think the Vision is going to get a big win at Crown Jewel, and that's going to lead them in the direction of they're going to be a well put together team. We still need to figure out what two members are going to join this team. The overall sort of consensus on the internet seems to be that it's going to be Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar, two of the biggest heels that there is in the business, but we'll have to see how that comes together. But right now, I got a dream team that I would like to put together for War Games, but I don't even know if these guys can sit in the same room, let alone that come together as a team and try and fight for the same thing come come War Games. I'm not really sure if that's going to be able to do it. But as Jay walks off, that he's like all distraught that he's going after CM Punk now, Roman pulls Jimmy in, and he basically says, "You know that I hear and see everything," and he's basically making a reference to Jimmy telling Jay that he is turning into Roman by listening to his advice. And, Jimmy to his face tells him that he knows that he's, pulling the strings, and he's trying to, get things bent the way that everything's going to be turning up Roman. And that's basically where that leads us to. Later on in the night, we're gonna get to fill in what all the other matches were, but yeah, this is the biggest storyline that is going on in WWE. CM Punk comes out for his interview, and immediately he's interrupted by LA Knight, and LA Knight comes down. They're basically telling each other that they're kind of cool with each other, but they both have a problem. LA Knight is seeming to say that he is the last guy to beat the World Heavyweight Champion. CM Punk is the last guy to hold the championship. He hasn't got his direct rematch. This is kind of the same storyline that built us into the Clash of Paris with the Fatal 4-Way. But this problem has not really gone away. But Jey Uso comes out of the back to put himself into the situation, basically saying that he himself is a former World Heavyweight Champion that has never been given his rematch as well. And if anybody's going to be putting their name in there to be getting World Heavyweight Championship shots, it's going to be him. Just nonchalantly coming to the ring, almost like following his brother to see what trouble he's going to get into, is Jimmy Uso. And then basically once they get into the ring, I think it was Jey Uso takes out LA Knight. Then we had CM Punk knock out Jey Uso, which then led to Jimmy Uso hitting CM Punk with a super kick. And immediately, once we get to the back, we find out that we're going to have a main event tag match of the Usos against LA Knight and CM Punk. Honestly, at this point in the night, I've been kind of used to their early start times the last two weeks, and I kind of thought that was just going to be the main event segment of the night, and I was almost good with it. That was the end of Monday Night Raw. And then came an Io Sky match against Kairi Sane, and then we got what would be the main event that we just talked about, the Usos versus CM Punk and LA Knight. CM Punk and LA Knight do not work as a team. The Usos, even though they are having a lot of trouble in the back, once they, got into the ring, they were kind of a fine-tooled machine. It all really came down to CM Punk hitting Jey Uso with the GTS, and then LA Knight got up on the apron, tagged himself in, and then pinned Jey Uso 1, 2, 3. CM Punk, the legend, what's the real world, the veteran, I guess you can say, of WWE, he knew that this match wasn't leading to him getting a title shot. He told LA Knight that he didn't even really want to have this match, let alone LA Knight steals the victory in a main event tag match that doesn't mean anything out of his own words. And CM Punk is upset that he didn't get the pin. I think that is a little bit of like the old school young CM Punk, not wanting LA Knight to take his glory, that he was able to go out there and he was able to knock out this former World Heavyweight Champion, yet somebody else comes and gets the pin. So CM Punk and LA Knight are victorious. They don't really celebrate in the ring. One goes one way, one goes the other. This team at War Games, if it's going to be CM Punk, if it's going to be LA Knight, if it's going to be Roman Reigns, I'm guessing it's going to be Jey Uso. I thought Cena was going to be on this team. I don't really know where he fits in. Could Jimmy Uso whittle his way into another main event by joining this team? Because he seems to be in the main event scene as of right now. Not quite sure. But Team WWE is in big time trouble. So that is your main event storyline of the Usos versus CM Punk and LA Knight. Filling in the gaps as we go along, I'm going to use the Raw report from the F4W to make sure that I don't really miss anything. We had the women's Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch having a match against Maxine Dupree. Just not to mix words, the match was not very good, but it was Maxine Dupree's best match that she's ever had in WWE. She was the ultimate underdog. I think it took a while for her to get the crowd, but once she got it, she never really got over where they were going bananas. But you could tell the crowd was definitely into Maxine Dupree. That they were falling for the 2 counts. They wanted the submissions. It just that Becky Lynch just outlasted her, and she just whooped on her. The problem was that when the fight went to the outside, Becky Lynch climbed up onto the table, and she was not paying attention to the referee, and she got counted out. Maxine Dupree gets the win, count out, non-title change or anything like that. I think the match itself was a non-title match, but now Becky, who has already been coming undone, we see in her backstage sort of promos that she's just running her mouth, and Seth is so involved in his Cody Rhodes matchup and how big this match is for his career that he's just not even listening to her, not even paying attention to her. So I don't know how this gets to the match that I think that we're getting, which is AJ, who I thought was going to return tonight, and I thought that was the reason that Maxine was going to get the win, but I don't know. Becky is she's still the champion, but her downfall definitely really has started. We had Lyra Valkyrie and Roxanne Perez having a match. Roxanne Perez got the win over Lyra Valkyrie. But once the match was over, Bayley picked up Lyra and said, "We got to go get him." And that ended up leading to a fight in the backstage that happened after a Judgment Day a promo with AJ Styles that basically set them up into a 6-man tag. The fight was there. Adam Pearce was going bananas. That was out there. But Roxanne Perez got the win over Lyra Valkyrie. Just a week ago, I was questioning if Roxanne Perez was the main member of the Judgment Day or if they were really starting to push Raquel for something that's going to be coming up, whether if it's her, getting a championship shot. They need her to be a sort of looking like a dominant heel. More wins for Roxanne Perez. I think that she has a bright future. I think that once Liv Morgan comes back to the Judgment Day or even comes back to Monday Night Raw, Roxanne Perez's influence, her matches are going to be that much more important, and I think she's going to shoot up the card, so I'm all for it. Video package for John Cena and AJ Styles. Still don't understand why they're not giving this a storyline or any kind of a hype. I guess you can say this builds to this 6-man that happened later on in the night, which was AJ Styles, Dragon Lee, and Penta getting the win over Dom, Finn Balor, and JD McDonough. At the end, AJ pinned JD and immediately ran over, grabbed the microphone, got on top of the Raw announcer stage, and just basically said, while I'm able to say something, he was trying to make it really seem like he's not supposed to be on the microphone, like he wasn't supposed to be saying this, but he's just basically said that him and John Cena, they don't need a storyline, but I believe his words were the match is going to kick ass. It has to. So they got some big shoes to fill. I don't really understand why they're having this match and why it's just an exhibition, in my words. There's no sort of stipulation that Cena or AJ getting a win is building to something. It's just a match for each other. I don't really understand what they're going towards. We had a match, Io Sky against Kairi Sane. I'm going to be looking to see if there's going to be some sort of like an injury report tomorrow, because I think Kairi Sane broke her hand. God honest truth. Rhea Ripley was in Australia. She's doing the publicity. She's doing the rounds for Crown Jewel for it being in her home country. So she wasn't there. Asuka, who was on the outside, was able to help Kairi Sane get the win. And then even once the match was over, Asuka basically was holding Io Sky down, and Kairi Sane hit this insane back fist. Immediately looked at her hand, like, oh shoot, what did I did? Climbed up to the top rope, hit her big elbow, and then immediately once she was done, looked at her hand again. So I'm not sure if she was selling the fact that she hit her. I think that something happened there, and I don't really know what they're going to do if something bad really did happen. So we're coming towards Crown Jewel. Like I said, this is going to be a really big show. They added the Australian street fight to it. We have Bronson Reed going up against Roman Reigns. We also, are going to have Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, which I think is going to be the main event of the show. Then during the show, we had Seth Rollins asking what would happen if he doesn't win this match. Of course, he's 0-3 against Cody Rhodes. And we had Paul Heyman basically tell him to his face, I'm going to have to think why I chose you and why I'm not with Roman Reigns. I think it's just going to come down to a numbers problem. As I'm saying, there's trouble with Team WWE. Everybody's all over the page. I don't think anybody's going to be there to make a save that's going to want to help Cody Rhodes come Crown Jewel. That's just basically what I think is going to be going down. But it's going to be a good show. We've also got the Stephanie Valkyrie match going up against Tiffany Stratton. We had a small little video introducing us to Stephanie Valkyrie. They're trying to really just get her more exposed and more over, that she's just coming out of the middle of nowhere since the Money in the Bank in the summertime, since she got promoted on the roster. So Crown Jewel is going to be fun. We'll see what we got going on Saturday. SmackDown is going to be a weird one. SmackDown is going to be live in the morning for most of the world, but I think here in America, unless you got one of those VPNs, I think we're all going to have to wait until 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock to watch the show here. So not really sure if that's going to be a big one, but if they name a championship match, put your money on a championship change. They love doing them on the SmackDowns before the pay-per-views. Peace out, everybody.